Good morning. The administration, staff, and students of Manzano High School would like to extend a special welcome to loved ones, friends, and community members to our 2013 commencement ceremonies.
The administration of Manzano High School requests that we honor each and every graduate. Many friends and family members are in attendance this morning to honor their graduates. Please refrain from any air horns and extended hollers so that every graduate's name can be heard and honored.
We would like to continue with the tradition of hosting a dignified graduation. This includes standing respectfully and quietly during the presentation of colors, as well as waiting until the colors have left the floor.
At this time, will you please stand to greet our graduates? ask that you remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner, as performed by the Commencement Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Mr. Brad Dubbs and Miss Rebecca Simmons. Manzano's Naval Junior ROTC under the direction of Chief David DeWitt will represent the colors.
Please remain standing respectfully and quietly until the colors have left the floor. You may be seated.
Parents and guests are asked to keep all aisles clear during the entire ceremony. This is requested of the fire department. Those wishing to take pictures must do so from their seats, and we ask that you remain seated so that you do not block the view of others. An official photographer will be taking a picture of each graduate receiving a diploma.
Good morning. My name's Therese Carroll, and I'm very proud to be the principal of Manzano High School. And we have some distinguished visitors with us here on the stage that I'd like to introduce to you now. Beginning at my left with our student body vice president-elect, Ms. Myra Palacios. Our student body president-elect, Ms. Alex Thornhill. Our valedictorian, Ms. Catherine Cordwell. Our salutatorian, Mr. Pontev J. Maharath. Our Dean of Students, Mr. Eric Orell. Our Athletic Director, Mr. Jim Briggs. The APS Executive Director of Research, Development, and Accountability, Ms. Roseanne Kernan. The Associate Superintendent of Elementary Education, Ms. Raquel Reedy. From our school board, Mr. Stephen Michael Quesada. Our superintendent of schools, Mr. Winston Brooks. And the school board member representing Manzano's district, Dr. Don Duran. And from my administrative team, Assistant Principal Suzanne Peters, and Assistant Principal Anthony Carrillo, Assistant Principal Ken Tooley, and the person who put this whole graduation together, our activities director, Miss Jennifer Wynn. To Miss Wynn's right, our student body president, Chloe Jarvis. Our student body vice president, Logan Yearout. Our student body secretary, Tess Walker. Our senior class president, Kirsty Lopez. And the singer today of our senior class song, Chloe Jew. At this time, we'll have our commencement address presented to you by our valedictorian, Catherine Cordwell.
Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the individuals who have been extremely helpful and supportive these past 4 years. This list includes, but is absolutely not limited to, my parents, the Manzano administration, especially Ms. Carroll, Mr. Tooley, Ms. Peters, Ms. Armijo, and Ms. Parker, and the amazing Manzano teachers. These I will not attempt to list, as there are far too many of them. Thank you all. So much of our high school experience has been shaped by competition. We are presented with such diverse opportunities, including musical evaluations, sports meets, both team and individual, and academic events, that it is easy to become overwhelmed. Moreover, the continual attitude and, too often, expectation is that we must play our hardest, go for gold, be the last team standing. In this way, many of you have succeeded. Sitting in these rows, I see people who have competed quite successfully in football, tennis, cheerleading, swimming, basketball. I see people who have been in school plays and who have won awards for their excellent dramatic performances. There are people here who have participated in All-State, and people who are members of the famous Manzano choir that sang with Foreigner. Over the past 4 years, each of you has truly and uniquely shown. However, it is important that we not forget the dangers of competition. When we compete, we are being measured against our peers. In this sense, the specific type of contest is largely immaterial. No matter whether we are musicians, sports aficionados, or what I like to call academic athletes, falling short can be painful. When we suffer repeated losses, it is easy to become demoralized and easy to forget that the people around us are not opponents to beat or obstacles to overcome, but friends. Sometimes we become so caught up in competition that we forget its larger purpose, which is to help us bring out the best in ourselves. Recently, I participated in a science contest with 39 other high school seniors. Amazingly, though the prize was a significant amount of money, none of the students was competitive. That is not to say that each of us did not try his or her hardest to win. We all did try. In the midst of this, however, there is a strong network of mutual support and an amazing level of camaraderie. It is venues such as this that provide us with the greatest opportunities to grow, not just as athletes, musicians, or academics, but as people. When we work with, learn from, and cheer on our peers, we are developing valuable life skills that will carry over into almost any profession that one could pick. Moreover, when we uphold a cooperative spirit while competing, we make large personal gains in maturity. Competitions give us a chance to develop a different perspective that, ultimately, changes the way we view the world. They provide an opportunity for us to consider others over ourselves, a feat which allows us to win and lose with grace. They also allow for us to make new friends. Often, when we enter competitions, we meet people who share exactly the same interests as we do. People who, far from being our enemies, have the potential to become our best friends. So there is much to be said for what can be learned from competition. But we must remember that this learning is dependent on the attitude with which we approach competition. With a negative attitude, competitions can be stressful and even borderline devastating. But when we compete with a more carefree attitude, doing our best without becoming too concerned about the final results, we are free to truly excel, all the while learning from others, forming social bonds, and even enjoying ourselves. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2013.
Distinguished guests, teachers, parents, students, and children who are dragged here today, welcome. This is it, Monarchs. After some 12 grueling years, we have finally scaled to the top of the mountains, reached the pinnacle of success, or some other overused cliche you wish to insert. From the time when we had to learn how to draw in between the lines in kindergarten, which I still haven't learned, by the way, to the time when we had to finish that pesky senior research paper, it's finally over. No more worrying about having to get your IDs out when asked by Mr. Truly, just to put them back in your bag when he leaves. No more worrying about getting hit by golf carts when you're walking during lunch. No more worrying about whether you're going to pass that class or having that realization that, oh, it's already 3 in the morning. Well, with some of us. Hopefully, we've learned a lot in these past 12 years, besides learning what onomatopoeia means. I hope we learned a bit about ourselves and our common humanity. A wise old man, or to be more specific, a wise young man, once wrote that he wanted people to forget all the pain and troubles around them. He wanted them to remember the inherent goodness in each and every person. He wanted them to discover the beauty and majesty of the world and the universe. And he wanted them to immerse themselves in each moment, notice the detail and hidden messages behind every solution, item, and person. These are some of the most important aspects of our humanity, yet day in and day out, most of us tend to overlook these moments, quickly pass by life, and never really stop and see the finer things in it, the things that actually matter. Sometimes we just need to take a step back and realize that yes, while it is important to achieve success and get good grades, sometimes the fight for it doesn't mean as much unless you can put a bird on it. If the only thing we ever strive for is success at all cost, what is it that we truly succeed? Sometimes, rather than pushing through to the next task, we should be looking to help that old lady cross the street and not just push her aside in our own road to success. Now, Mr. Duran always told me that the years will go by quick and that we need to cherish these oh-so-limited moments that we all have together. Now, many of us are thinking, including myself at times, with the age of social media upon us, do we not have an advantage in terms of communication? It is true that in this age of technology, we can interact more than ever before. I mean, I can just send a smiley face to my cousins in Australia right from Facebook. Compare this to a decade ago, and that would be pretty close to impossible. But for the most part, though, what are we really using it for? Are we connecting with long-lost friends? Or are we just liking those grumpy cat memes? I think we know the answer to that one. So just make sure to absorb these moments and enjoy the company that we are all sharing with each other right now. And to the underdogs at the school, to the students who felt like they could never really fit in here, with the ups and downs of the high school system, the politics of it, it can be harsh, and it was harsh for most of us. There will be times when we feel like we don't get what we want, when we don't succeed, but that experience, for better or for worse, will ultimately fill our passion buckets up for that next challenge and ultimately that next success. If you feel that things aren't going your way now, just remember that this isn't the end of your road. It's just the beginning. There's a lot to go, a lot to learn, a lot to do, but we just gotta hope that we have plenty of time to do it. So before you depart away from this shelter of high school to the freedoms and responsibility of reality, remember to keep the positive memories alive. Whether it's the teacher who always seemed to be right in any weather prediction he made, or that teacher who always was thrilled when we gave him hot sauce, specifically Taco Bell hot sauce. Don't forget these teachers who have helped mold you to who you are today. Don't forget the experiences you have enjoyed here as well, the roars and cheers of the assemblies, or for those less spirited, those broken fingers from card games. And most of all, don't forget the friends you have made throughout these past 12 years. Ultimately, they're the ones who have kept you sane all this time. So keep fighting and keep dreaming. Cherish this moment, spread the love, and learn how to color in between the lines. And ultimately, to the parents, nice job. To your teachers, thank you. And to my fellow class of 2013, congratulations.
I want to thank my wonderful teachers, friends, and families who are here today and our fellow seniors who are giving me the honor of speaking today. I have just a few things to say, and then let's graduate. Okay, so who was Manzano's class of 2013? Since there are over 300 of us, it's hard to lay down just one definition. But as a whole, I think we could agree that we knew how to have fun while still managing to get the job done. Remember that 8th grade assembly of visiting Manzano for the first time, and they made us scoot from left to right and right to left to clean the bleachers? Since then, we have grown together as a class than we ever imagined. Throughout the past 3 years, we have watched class after class graduate from Manzano, and now it's our turn. We will never forget that first day of high school with that scared feeling you had in your gut and thinking to yourself, how am I ever going to get through this? But as the years went by, it became easier and easier, and now it's over with. It all went by so fast, but we will never forget our crazy spirit and the year that both Manzano football and basketball both made it to state, and just being so excited to attend that game. Or maybe having that huge crush on someone in your class, but being too afraid to talk to them. Or at our recent assembly, seeing all our senior boys dressing up as cheerleaders and looking super adorable. Or seeing Mr. Tooley and walking another direction, or covering your front because you didn't have your ID. The many hours working on your research papers, us battling to get to schools on the icy roads, and all the many hours getting glammed up for a dance. These were great times spent with one another, but the time has come to say many goodbyes. Goodbye for many to the rooms at home. Goodbye to the friends that have been made throughout the years. Goodbye to our childhood, and goodbye to Manzano High School. It is time for us to venture out into that big wide world ahead of us. It takes bravery to step out of our comfort zones. So let's be daring and show the world what we are truly made of. The world has no right to tell us who we are, so don't let anybody or anyone hold you back from what you are meant to become. You are not obligated to be who you are at 18 for the rest of your life. Who you were at Manzano High School doesn't define you or who you will be for the rest of your life. Don't be afraid to change. Just make sure it is a change for the better, and make sure you are being true to yourself. That means be whoever you want to be, not be who your friends who think you are, and not be the same person you were last year. If you've known all along what you want to be, then go for it. But if you haven't figured it out, no worries, it's just the beginning. But I encourage you to further your education because it is the one thing that no one can take from you. My fellow classmates, you are capable and have so much potential. Always remember to be courageous. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you.
Hi, guys. You could be the greatest, you could be the best, you could be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world, you could beat the war, you could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock, you can move mountains, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name. You'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. You could go the distance, you could run a mile, you could walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you could get the gold, breaking all the records that you thought never could be broke. Do it for your people, do it for your pride. Never gonna know if you never even tried. Do it for your country, do it for your fame, 'cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name, 'cause you burn with the brightest flame. And the world's gonna know your name. You'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion, be a champion, be a champion, be a champion. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be true seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. The world's gonna know your name. burn with the brightest flame. The world's gonna know your name. You'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion, be a champion, be a champion, be a champion. Stand in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Chloe. That was beautiful. I'm going to try and be like Miss Wynn and use my iPad today. Okay. Seniors, faculty, and honored guests, I'm very proud to join you here today in celebration of your commencement. As you receive your diplomas this afternoon, I rejoice with you in your accomplishments and that of your teachers and families who supported you along the way. I knew it sometimes felt like a long way getting through your educational journey these past 13 years, but I hope you felt guided by mentors and role models within our school community. A friend of mine recently reminded me of a quote that I love from the poet Emily Dickinson. "The sailor cannot see the north, but knows the needle can." The metaphor in that line is often used to reference the need in all of us to have an internal compass as we travel through life, so that the decisions we make along the way guide us to uncertain futures that are full of certain truths. Emily Dickinson was a shy, reclusive young woman who wrote most of her poetry from her home on a quiet street in a small college town of Amherst, Massachusetts. Having grown up in Amherst myself, when I read Emily's poetry as a kid, I related to the isolation and boredom with small-town life that I thought she expressed in her writings. But when I read her work today, I appreciate now her loyalty to her family and her community and her search for direction from respected leaders and her courage to express convictions previously unspoken by women of her time. Rigor, relevance, relationships, and responsibility are the 4 R's we hold up in Manzano's mission statement as the means through which our students will successfully graduate and be prepared for meaningful lives after high school. I believe these same values will continue to guide your steps. I encourage you to continue seeking rigorous academic challenges in college and your careers. As of yesterday morning's honors assembly, almost all of you had already been accepted into a post-secondary educational program of some kind. Excellent start. I encourage you to continue choosing directions relevant to your own values and passions for learning. Continue in relationships with teachers, students, and family members who support your learning. And continue taking responsibility as citizens to guide and mentor younger monarchs to their true north. To our APS board members, Dr. Duran and Mr. Quesada, I would like to present the class of 2013. They have met all the requirements as set forth by the Albuquerque Public Schools Board of Education, along with the New Mexico Public Education Department. May I present them to you now?
On behalf of the Albuquerque Public Schools Board of Education, We proudly accept the class of Manzano High School, 2013.
I'd like to tell all you graduates that your first goal should be happiness. Your second goal is to dream, and to dream big, and to dream with your eyes wide open. Congratulations, 2013!
At Manzano, we have a tradition so that everyone can hear their student's name read clearly, that we have a tradition called the Monarch Clap. We would like you to join us with that. Let me read each individual name, and at the end of each name, we will give a single clap, as we call it, the Manzano Clap. We'll give them all a great round of applause when we get to the end of the list. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Oh, and do y'all have your IDs? Just kidding. Catherine Lee Cordwell. Pantav J. Maharav. Luke Nicholas Youngman. Alexander William Gordon. Francesca Alethea Peaky Wilson. Austin Coleridge Vicus. Kimberlyn Patricia Weeks. Rachel Ann Hassler. Alicia Monique Sikora. Akela Marin Corbett. Eric Aguirre. Ashley Renee Akins. Arturo Alfaro. Arathnia Amaro Ortega. Michael A. Anthony. Aaron Michael Aragon. Maria Louise Aragon. Alenka M. Arvizo. Peristu Nikki Argazerde. Jordan Justine Avalos. Amber Nicole Baca. Erica Christine Baca. Amanda Alicia Bailey. Louis Ray Bandy Jr. Riley Anthony Banez. Derek D. Benali. Jalen Angelica Benavides. Xavier Bennett. Christopher Andrew Bergman Shambro. William Tyler Perry. Ariane K. Baya. Tyler Blau. Anaceli Denise Boyer. Cassandra Marie Bernard. Jasmine Sky Brown. Waylon Manuel Bucher. Brenda May Burke. Shaylis Danielle Busby. Natalie Ann Bush. Samantha Paige Cagle. Jason Daniel Carmona. Thomas Lawrence Casillas. Jorge A. Castro. Nathaniel Allen Kataska. Kyle Spencer Chamas. Erica Marlene Chavez. Michael Anthony Chavez. Robert Anthony Chavez. Janet Heng Chung. Christian James Claytor. Camille Ross Coffey. Ashley Nicole Coito. Shelby R. Cook. Alfredo Patricio Cordova. Luis Aaron Cortez. Savannah Victoria Costales. Derek Colin Covey. Justin Carl Covey. David Chavez IV. Serafina Medina Dandridge. Thomas Dow. Connor Gray Davis. Halle Mary Day. Matthew S. Day. Sean Allen Dayhoff. Derek Michael DeBuck. Ashley Paige Decker. Cody James DeFreites. Karen Tatiana Dennison. Elizabeth May Detlefs. Madeline Amy Dick. Gear Joseph Dorado. Jennifer Nuet Doan. Obed Husan Duarte. Brett Anthony Duran. Jasmine Michaela Enriquez. Shane Anthony Davis Esposito. Michael J. Fadum. Nicole Jasmine Ferguson. Philip M. Fernandez. Nina Marie Farrell. James Michael Fine. Kaylin Robert Fisher. Heather Jean Fisk. Alejandra Flores. Luis Carlos Flores. Craig W. Foster. Sydney Paige Fox. Natasha Michelle Fredekind. Cole Patrick Freeman. Lisa Monique Frias. Christiana A. Fugat. Marissa Danielle Gale. Shante Jolina Gallegos. Karen Denise Gondara. Andrew Jordan Garcia. Jose Thomas Garcia. Kevin C. Garcia. Samantha Ray Garcia. Chantel Tiffany Garcia. Yunette de la Caridad Garcia Guzman. Jeremy J. Garcia Jr. Janae Vanice Nicole Germany. Brandon Hunter Gill. Georgina Rose Gomez. Anthony I. Gonzalez. John Austin Gonzalez. Jesse Lee Gorley. Sierra Cheyenne Graham. Natasha Ray Griego. Carly Shea Goulet. Kayla Marie Gutierrez. Samantha Marie Gutierrez. Madeline Joy Halpern. Jarrell Nickshon Harper. Peter Charles Haskey. Ryan Robert Hensel. Gregory Hernandez Castarena. Brianna Marie Areta. Gilbert T. Areta. Angelina Marie Faith Areta Malden. Matthew Dylan Heapvo. Jacob Ian Hill. Shaylee Yort. Nicole Jean Hogeson. Alicia Anita Hollingsworth. Angelique Elena Hollingsworth. Kevin D. Holion. Cole Leon Howard. Cortasia Diversi Hudson. Diora Noel James. Lacey Catherine Ann James. Mark A. Jaramillo. Chloe Dion Jarvis. Chloe Lynn Jew. David Ransford Gio. McKenna Catherine Cassettis. Kara Marie Kavulak. Elizabeth Maria Keller. Shane Allen Kennard. Michael Joseph Lederhaus Jr. Dylan Scott Leeper. Edith Lanares. Taylor Frederick Linker. Erica Tina Lynn. Shelby Nicole Lionberger. Jasmine Cecilia Yamas. Chloe Sarah Logan. John Cody Logis. Felicia Lopez. Johnny E. Lopez. Kirsty Vanya Lopez. Raymond A. Lopez. Jasmine Clara Lovato. Lucas Robert Lowry Ross. Christian Joshua Lucero. Genevieve Marie Lujan. Shelby Lynn Lujan. Gabrielle Reese Mays. Anthony Patrick Maestas. Brandon Thomas Manzano. Jorge Luis Maldonado. Chase Avery Martinez. Christopher Francisco Martinez. Christopher Luis Martinez. William Allen Martinez. Francisco Martinez III. Gabriel Manuel Maxon. Anne Graciela Mayfield. Samantha Marie McCants. Ryan Matthew McCurley. Alan Daniel Malloy. Taylor Nicole Mendoza. Alec Allen Middleton. Bernard A. Miller. J. Monroe Miller. Matthew James Mishkil. Feliz Victoria Vigil Mora. Marlene Moreno. Osvaldo Moreno. Daniel John Myers. Chloe Adele Nance. Jared Eugene Nash Donnell Jr. Ashley Justin Neighbor. Jeanette T. Wynn. Nok Thiep Wynn. Vivian Tu Wynn. Vina T. Nguyen. Julian Nazario Nieto. Ni T. Wynn. Jaime A. Nieves. Jason Andrew Opel. Ignacio Ortiz. Catherine M. Ortiz. David Andrew Overmeyer. Christine Alexis Petit. Avinash J. Patel. Gunnar Dale Paulson. Taylor Chrisanne Payne. Genevieve Regina Pepin. Reyes Rafael Perez. Jesse M. Padeas Baca. Jessica Lynn Pinto. Erica Nicole Nieto. Deborah Leanne Nieto. Hannah Perry. Tram H. Pham. Jacqueline Tui Fan. Nikki D. Phillips. Nicole Ponce. Angelica Estrelita Pound Esperacueta. Brandon J. Rael. Jacob Andrew Reeves. Dean Labis Riddle II. Chanel Marie Ridgway. Kirsten Elan Readers. Brianna Lynn Reese. Katie A. Roach. Crystal Nicole Romero. Hunter C. Rose. Jacqueline Renee Rubio. Scott Jason Russell. Johnny Daniel Seiss. Irving Salas. Brooke Ashley Sanders. Marina Margaret Sandoval. Samantha Brianna Sandoval. Alicia Ray Sanford. Anthony B. Santiago. Jacob Scarlett. Christiane Oliva Santasteban. Kiana Sanchez. Lane E. Schultz. Rachel Kate Scott. Aaron M. Cedillo. Alexis R. Senna. Patrick Vincent Shea. Samantha L. Shea. Matthew L. Shendo. Adam Victor Samari. David J. Smith. Kendall Aaron Smith. Patrick S. Smithgee. Samantha Jo Snyder. Rachel Renee Sousa. Luke Alexander Spence. Brianna Jean Spencer. Crystal Rose Stacy. Evan Dean Stewart. Chloe Marie Sweeney. Jesse David Taft. Nicole Elaine Tapia. Jodan Victor Tenorio. Jonathan Tai. Min Ho Tai. Brianna Danielle Thompson. Eric Lee Tidwell. Gabrielle Dawn Torres. Jasmine Adriana Torres. Jesse Michael Torres. Cody Nok Tran. Mimi T. Tran. New Win Tran. Jocelyn Lucia Trujillo. Chantel Leanne Trujillo. Delaney Jerry Tucker. James Anthony Underhill. Audrey Marie Valdez. Angelo Joseph Valencia. Erica Nicole Vallejos. Jessica Paige Vargas. Sabrina Renee Vargas. Carmen Kira Vertikoff. Renee Felicia Villegas. Charles Din Vo. Amanda Jeanette Vokes. Dylan Wayne Vowell. Jasmine Ilea Walker. Skylar David Walker. Jordan Lee Walter. Tess Alexandria Walker. Kenyatta Carolyn Walton. Elizabeth Danielle Weaver. Natalie Caitlin Weiss. Robert Wellborn. Tayshawn Lynette Marie Williams. Darby Nicole Wilmishare. Larry Wilson III. Joshua Anthony Wingo. Jonah David Wright. Riley Evan Warwitzki. Logan Andrew Yearout. Daniel Lorenzo Zamora. Ladies and gentlemen, the Manzano High School class of 2013.
They already got their diplomas. In a moment, the seniors will recess to receive their diplomas. We request that all family members and guests remain seated until the final graduate has recessed.
Upon the conclusion of the commencement ceremony, graduates will be escorted to the post-commencement meet and greet site located at the Creative Arts parking lot, southwest of Tingley Coliseum. You may enter the meet and greet site by exiting through the west doors. You are welcome to gather and share in commemoration of the academic achievement of the graduates, but are kindly reminded to share a brief congratulations and then move on to personal celebrations.
To the class of 2013, I would like to say to you that the memories we have shared throughout the high school will always be deep within our hearts. Now, as our final act of unity, we will follow the Manzano tradition that the class moves their tassels together. Will you please stand?
Let's do it, dude.
At this moment, will you please move your tassels with me from the right to the left? Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the class of 2013.
Albuquerque Public Schools, support the potential.